All right, everybody, I'm going to call this meeting to order for the Brawley City Council and successor agency to the Brawley Community Redevelopment Agency. Our regular meeting for April 4th at 6 p.m. here at the City Council chambers. And if we can have roll call, please.
Yes, the minutes will reflect that all the council members are present.
Thank you very much. Next is the invocation. If you could please rise, and Council Member Hamby will lead us in an invocation.
Let's all bow our heads and pray. Almighty God, our gracious Heavenly Father, I give you thanks this evening for your hand of protection and for your many blessings that are upon this city in general, and this agency in particular. I thank you for your guidance and for the wisdom that you give us in the steps that we take to make tomorrow better for the city of Brawley. And God, I ask especially tonight that you would miraculously bring us quality leadership here as we've had in the past, as you have brought us in the past. And it is it's no small thing what we've been able to accomplish over the last couple of years in spite of a pandemic with the good leadership that you have brought us miraculously. And I ask that you would continue to do that for these positions that are open. I also ask that you would just give us guidance as we continue to be hit with unfunded mandates from the state, that we would be able to overcome those hurdles and that we would be able to continue to be financially sound as we have been these last few years. I thank you again for your blessings. I ask that you would be with us tonight in this meeting. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you very much. If you could please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Guzman, would you lead us in the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you, Mr. Guzman. Thank you, Councilmember Hamby.
Definitely.
All right, the next item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as written?
I'll make a motion.
There's a motion and there's a second as well. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is public appearances, comments not to exceed 4 minutes. This is the time for the public to address the council on any item not appearing on the agenda that is within the subject matter jurisdiction of the City Council. The mayor will recognize you. When you come to the microphone, please state your name for the record. You are not allowed to make personal attacks on individuals or make comments which are slanderous or which may invade an individual's personal privacy. Please direct your questions and comments to the City Council. Is there anyone here who would like to make a public comment?
Thank you. So for those who don't know me, Dr. Tyson, I own All Valley Urgent Care, but I also own Inferno Restaurant. So I just wanted to make it known to the council that I've been trying to make this known to both Tyler. I've had discussions with Rachel, as well as the Chamber of Commerce. While we had a great event over the weekend on a Saturday, the business impact on my personal business is always interrupted every time we close down Main Street. So closing down the entirety of Main Street, parking food trucks in front of my restaurant, putting a stage in front of my restaurant without notice is financially impacting me. I can't sell food, I can't sell alcohol, and I had a band scheduled that night that I had to pay for. Without knowing this event was even taking place, I can't A, participate, or B, even not have the band scheduled so that we're not competing with the stage out in front of me. There's multiple resolutions that can be made. There's multiple accommodations that can be made with me and my business, and I'm willing to work with anyone who wants to have these events, but I have to be included. I've been, basically screaming for almost 2 years now to be included as part of a solution, not as part of a problem. I'm trying to reach out to Rachel during the day. She can't get a hold of the event coordinator. I reach out to Mr. Nava. I reached out to Tyler, when it came to cattle call and things like that. But every time we shut that down, we have to understand it's not just my business. Foster Freeze, you got other restaurants. Everybody who relies on a Saturday okay? Because the Saturday's our biggest day of the week, Friday night and Saturdays. That financially impacts me dramatically. You know, imagine somebody parking, you know, stuff in front of your driveway, right? And you can't get to your house. You got to walk to your house. How is that going to, you know, work out if you have a birthday party scheduled, right? I mean, so I have reservations that we take weeks in advance. I had a band book that was published all over, and it was very upsetting to my customers. It was very upsetting to the band. Again, I'm having to put stuff out of my pocket to pay for things. While I know it was a great event and I think it's good for the city, I'm just asking that you guys take that into consideration, get with the business owners that it will be affected, figure out how we can do things. I can be, quote, a beer garden. I have an event permit for alcohol sales for 4 times a year. I can do that. So if I can't sell food, maybe I can sell beer, right? If you're going to park a band or a stage, maybe you put it on the other side so you have 2 choices of music. My stage, their stage, right? And we're not competing with each other. We're actually complementing each other, okay? So there's ways we can do it and there's ways to work around it. But I'm tired of trying to go through other channels because it's not working. So I want to bring that to the city councils, you know, so you guys understand that. So when you guys are approving these things, hey, was Inferno notified? You know, what's their stance on it? Are they participating or are they not? Do they know? That's all I'm asking. I thank you guys for your time. You know, I try to do the best I can for the city. We try to provide entertainment. We try to provide a lot of things for the city so that people have an option here. But if I have to close down, like I had to close my mall location down because we're not making money, I don't want that to happen here.
I agree. Thank you, Dr. Tyson. And my apologies to you. I heard your message and I heard it late. So I know that you did reach staff, but I did speak to our city manager. And during public comment, we don't typically go back and forth, but I wanted to make something clear to you. I think you bring up some very good points. You know, you are an established business, obviously big investment. I want to make sure that we support business, and community events are important as well. I'm very supportive, but I know that there's a better way to organize. And I did have that conversation with our city manager with respect to like a logistical meeting in advance of the events. And so I think that's going to be very important. So,
Yeah, that's all.
Because there was complaints on different fronts. So, and this is one of them. So I appreciate you coming up here and sharing your thoughts, but I think it's very important. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to share your thoughts or have a public comment?
Good evening, Council, Mayor Nava, City Manager Tyler Salcido. My name is Esther Banda, and I am with the Brawley Elementary School District. I just want to commend your guys' efforts for working together with us. Some of my fellow board members are here, as well as our superintendent, in providing the SRO services to our district. It's a vital service that we truly appreciate, and I know Mr. Hamby mentioned, you know, in prayer, finances is a big issue, but whenever in doubt, we're willing to work together with you guys to continue that service that we have with the SRO. Chief Duran is openly works with our district. You know, we can contact him at any time, and so we just want to make it clear that I support the blue. I'm pretty sure that my fellow board members also support the blue, but again, there's a lot of services that we need for safety, not only for us, but for our community and our students while they're attending school. Also wanted to give you an update. I know our superintendent could probably speak better on our school, but just wanted to update you on where we're at with our new middle school. I don't know, Rana, you want to kind of mention a thing or two so she can give you a little bit more detail, but just so that you know where we're at in our new middle school.
Thank you for your comment.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor Nava, members of the City Council. First of all, again, I'd like to share my appreciation for the City of Brawley Police Department and their Explorer program as well, who did an amazing job posting the colors at our parent event this last weekend. Also, I wanted to offer a partnership, another partnership opportunity with the City of Brawley, and that is if you ever were to decide to convene a joint task force, myself, Superintendent Canales, and Superintendent Cordero and Westmoreland would be more than happy to partner with the City of Brawley to look into some of the issues some of our young people are having. We know that there are multiple fights in our community. We know that we had 2 young men shot after a fight in our community. And we are here to support the City of Brawley and partner with them in any way possible to keep our students safe. Your families are our families, and we're here to work together. Our new middle school is up and running. As you can see, it is not two-story. That's a lot of questions we get. Our ceilings are just very tall. But we do have two buildings with the sides going up, and the flooring is going in our other buildings. And we still are on target to open in August of 2024. The name has yet to be decided, although, again, thank you to the community of Brawley for supporting us in that endeavor, and the members, especially Councilmember Revelar, for being our chairperson of our naming committee to supply our board with the names they'll be choosing at a meeting in May. But again, thank you for your continued support. Tyler's been amazing in supporting us with our construction. But again, we're here to support you. We're here to be your partner for the young people here in the city of Brawley.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Ms. Fox,
Yes.
if you could share also on the recent planning grant regarding community schools.
Yeah, sure. So again, I'll share community schools. I know your public comments are limited, but we did receive a grant to be a community school. What a community school means is that certain schools in our district will choose to be a community school. Unlike Del Rio Community School, this is a wraparound services concept. So the schools will house medical services, psychological services, food. We'll work with the food bank. We'll work with Feed the Need, so that our parents in our community that don't have transportation, which is quite a few, especially at Oakley and Hidalgo, can come to the school and have all their services and all their needs met. We will be looking for community partners to sit on our advisory committees, so we'll be reaching out to the city council for their support with that endeavor as well. So super exciting to provide all of our families what they need right there at their local school, as well as what we already offer in our district.
Thank you for the update. We appreciate your words. Thank you very much. All right, is there anyone else who would like to make a public comment on any item not appearing on the agenda? All right, seeing none, we're going to move forward. And next is item 2.
Hold on.
Oh, there is. Okay, there's somebody else here. Okay.
Good evening
Good evening.
to the mayor, city council, city manager, and city attorney. I'm going to pass out some decimals, the standard decimals.
All right, so you passed out these items. Can you describe what you're passing out?
I'm sorry?
Can you describe what you've passed out to us, please?
The decimals regarding the noise, the decimals of the noise level.
Okay. All right.
My name is Carol Goss, and I live at the Sirdot Plaza in Brawley. And I'm here in reference to the noise ordinance, no restriction on the noise. Sorry to say this is my 6th time I have came to ask the council to please resolve this matter. The noise is still loud. Maybe you want me to stop coming, but it is impossible. But I cannot sleep because of the noise at my age. The law of noise protection in California, STEML law. Noise is considered as disturbing the peace, loud arguments, loud noise, challenges to fight someone, even offensive words might provoke a violent fight. State laws and city ordinances to deal with loud music and noise, California Penal Code 415.2 states that it is illegal to maliciously and willfully disturb another person with loud and unreasonable noise. The Salinas Municipal Code states that it is illegal to use sound equipment between the hours of 10 p.m. through 7 a.m. at any time when it is unreasonably loud. Noise complaints in California is from 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. To control the noise in California, a person can contact the Noise Enforcement Team and the Imperial County Department of Public Health. Noise Control Act, HSC 46,000, Californians all Californians are entitled to a peaceful and quiet environment without the intrusion of noise, which may be hazardous to their health or welfare under HSC 46,000, making excessive noise. Decimal levels. 50 to 60 decimal is normal conversation. 60 to 65 decimal is laughter. 70 decimals, a vacuum cleaner and a hair dryer. 75 to 80 decimals, a dishwasher and busy downtown street. 95 decimals, motorcycle. 70 decimal noise over a prolonged period of time will damage your hearing. The loudest sound in the world will kill you. Noise pollution will affect a person's health. Excessive noise causes anxiety and depression. The California Noise Control Act of 1973 states that excessive noise is a serious hazard to public health and welfare, and exposure to certain levels of noise can result in psychological and economical damage. In my closing remarks, how do you fix this problem? Housing in a commercial zoning area. This is a serious problem and should be taken care of as soon as possible. The law was passed on September 28, 2022. Governor Gavin Newsom signed the Senate Bill 6 and Assembly Bill 2011 into law, allowing California legislature to allow housing on commercial property. Since this is the law, what are you going to do about this situation to make it comfortable for both parties? Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Is there anyone else who would like to make a public comment?
I too live there, and my name's Lori Gibson. I too live there, and it's very loud. A lot of people we're all having a hard time. We don't want to shut no businesses down. We want there to be business, but you would think in that type of venue you would have a closed building. You can have noise as loud as you want, but not in open air. It does affect all of us a lot. We don't want to close the business. We want businesses here. That's what we want.
Thank you for your comment. Is there anyone else who'd like to make a public comment?
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Tony Reynosa, and I'm a business owner here in Brawley, Main Street, and I come here to support. I know it's been a lot of back and forward on all this noise, but I believe that we need to bring it out and say something for the people that's been having issues. To me, I believe it's like an Inferno or 805. I mean, what we want for our kids. I mean, we need to have a place where they can go and have fun. And I know sometimes it's after 10 o'clock, midnight, but what do we want? We want them to go Mexicali, we want them to go El Centro, spend the money over there, or keep the money over here. So as a business owner, I just want to come and support this business. As a business owner, I've been here for the last 10 years in Main Street. And before, it was just needles around Main Street. It was nothing. I mean, and it's been a lot of effort, what we've been doing, and everything that is going now. We got different new business in Main Street, and I think, I mean, there's been bringing more business and bring more employment for different people. So I just want to bring my.
Thank you, Mr. Reynosa. I appreciate your comments. Thank you. All right, is there anyone else who'd like to make a public comment? Done once, twice. All right, seeing none, we're going to move on. All right, next item on the agenda is 2B. It's a presentation of certificate of recognition to the local Brawley School students for participation and achievements at the California Migrant Education Program's 14th annual ICOE MEP region. What is that? What number is that? I don't know. 6. Is that 6? 6? All right, speech and debate tournament. There we go. Sorry. Presented by Mrs. Patricia Larios, Director of Migrant and Continuous Improvement Services. And so just a little bit of a plug for my sister, Irma. I don't think she's here, is she? No?
Yeah, she's
Oh,
here.
there she is. That's my favorite sister. Irma, please stand, because that's my favorite sister.
Not your only sister,
She's,
is she?
she's my only sister, so she's my favorite sister. And she reached out to me a couple of weeks back, and she'd mentioned that some of her students and other students had been successful in through this speech and debate tournament. And so she asked if there was a way to recognize them, and I wanted to put it on the agenda last meeting, but it was a little too soon, so we did it now. And I, quite honestly, I'm happy that we did. Staff, where's Tommy? He's here somewhere. Staff members were instrumental in getting the certificates printed out, and they made some improvements to them, so they look really nice, and I think it's something that the students can be proud of. So that's a little bit of backstory. So Irma, thank you, and your coworkers as well for helping out. Appreciate you all very much. And that is my favorite sister.
Imagine if I weren't.
Right, yeah, no, right.
Now he can't say he's the favorite brother.
That's true. I'm not the favorite brother. I know that for a fact. But I take pride in that. So it's all good. You know what I mean? All right, cool. So here we go. We will we'll start here, and I think what we've done is there is a certificate recognizing all the students on one presentation, certificate of recognition. This is for the school itself, and then individual certificates. So we'll read those off, okay? So we'll start with Brawley Elementary School, and actually that is a typo I just noticed there, and my apologies for that. And that's a typo in all of them, so we're going to have to make a correction. My apologies. So the City of Brawley recognizes these Brawley Elementary School District BESD students for hard work and dedication in participating at the California Migrant Education Program's 14th Annual ICOE MEP Region 6 Speech and Debate Tournament. This competition included 130 students from all over the Imperial Valley. The City of Brawley appreciates and recognizes your wonderful achievements at this year's competition. All right, so let's we got to make some corrections here.
Go ahead, Ms. Larios, share a little bit about the whole team and your experience.
Okay. Good evening, Mayor Nava, City Councilman, Attorney, and City Manager. So every year we prepare students from grades 4th through 12th. Well, I'm going to say 12th grade because we also have Brawley High here. And these students go after school. They join our speech and debate team. And not only that, but these students, I mean, they learn critical skills. And a lot of them are English learners. And I know because of time, but we have students here that their speeches are phenomenal, and Brawley High took it home. And so I will share, I mean, when you call up the children, I would like them to share if they got first place or second place or third place, just so that we can recognize them. And I think we have the majority of our team. And I think you won first place, or which one? Yeah. So she got first in her prepared speech and extemporaneous, and she's a senior, correct? 10th grade, okay. 10th grade. So, I mean, it's just an amazing. So Brawley rocked at this year's competition. So,
Fantastic.
And I want to thank you for acknowledging us and
Well,
our
no,
students.
I appreciate it very much.
And the team here, these three ladies, these are my favorite
All right.
coaches.
Well, let's hear from the team. How about
Yes,
that? Let's hear from the team.
absolutely.
We'll start with my favorite sister. How about she says, you know?
Okay, so my name is Irma Nava Gonzalez, and I am the speech teacher or coach for the junior high. So I had the 7th and 8th graders, and I had 5 participants, and they were there November, December, January, February, every day after school, or 3 days a week after school, practicing writing their speeches. And just a little bit, so you know, it's 2 prepared speeches. So those 2 prepared speeches, we write them, practice presenting them. However, they do have the extemporaneous speech that they have to present there. And at that moment, they go in, they have 10 minutes to choose out of 1 to 2 speeches and have to write it, turn in their speech, walk out, and then they come back in and they just have to go with it. And that is something very difficult for them, but they all did really well.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you, favorite sister. And the other team members there?
Good evening. My name is Paige Fabian, and I worked with the speech and debate students for Phil Swing in 4th, 5th, and 6th grade.
Fantastic.
And we had a great time, and I'm really proud of them. And we took home 1st place, 2nd place. You'll see when you announce them, but I'm really proud of them. So,
All right.
Go Brawley.
Let's go.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Olga Leon, and I'm very proud of all the students, and I'm the school migrant parent liaison. So I wear different hats. I also do work with them on speeches, and I enjoy doing that. And a lot of the high school students that are graduating this year, I've been working with them since they were like 4th and 5th grade. So I'm very proud of the Brawley Union high school students as well, because that's a big accomplishment.
You've seen their progress.
Yes.
Certainly. Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. And my apologies for the missed spelling in here, but we'll get them corrected for you. I signed them just a few moments ago, so I didn't really get a chance to see through them, but we'll make sure that we'll make those corrections for you so you're able to keep these as mementos. Please.
Hi, good evening, council members, Mayor. My name is Veronica Castro. I am the Migrant Program Counselor at the Brawley High School District, and with me today is Daniel Nunez, and he is my speech and debate advisor at Brawley Union High School.
Good evening. So this is my 2nd year doing this, and I think last year we started with 2 students, and then this year we ended up with 5. And thanks to Brawley Elementary, I mean, we really did good this year. So this year we had 2 freshmen, 2 second places. My sophomore star here got 1st place in both, and then we had a senior with 2 second places as well. So thank you to Brawley Elementary, really molding them, and me just taking them a little further, of course.
You're right.
It's such an awesome experience. These girls work super
You went like
hard.
this a little bit further, it's like, that was impressive there. You know?
These girls work super hard. We worked on Saturdays after school, and this is all extra.
Sure.
This is extra outside of school, and they got a lot of guts, to be honest, because it's
Absolutely.
not easy speaking in front of, what was it, like 10, maybe 10 people, 8, somewhere around there. People of the community, people they don't know.
Certainly.
So a lot of guts.
Absolutely. No, we thank you all very much. Let's give them a round of applause for the work that they're doing.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to point out also that Mr. Nunez is the newest appointed exalted ruler at the
Exalted
Brawley
ruler,
House.
yeah.
Busy man.
Busy man.
Excellent.
There we go. All right. So we will present these, and we'll go up as council and present them. But I'm going to read off the names, and we'll go from there. All right. So my apologies again. If there's any misspellings or typos, we'll get those corrected for you, so you can have a memento that you can treasure for the future. So this is first going to Brawley Elementary School District students, and I want to congratulate them all in advance. 4th grade, Brianna Manriquez. Brianna? Here. They can come up. Yeah, come on up. We'll form a little path up here, and we'll present you the award. So 5th grade, Clarissa Aranjo? Yeah? Am I pronouncing that correctly? Yeah? Come up. Big round of applause for all of them. 5th grade, Mariana Grijalva. And if I misspell your name or I mispronounce it, excuse me, please correct me, all right? I want to make sure it's correct for the record. 6th grade, Kimberly Licona. Yeah? Kimberly? 6th grade, Genesis Carmona. Sixth grade, Naomi Plasencia? Yeah, Plasencia. No, it's Plasencia. That's misspelled. 7th grade, Grisel. Would you help me with the last name, please? All right. Yeah. Grisel. Just for that, let's give her a big round of applause. 8th grade, Jordan Campas. 8th grade, Jesus Muñez. 8th grade, Kaylin Ramos Garcia. All right, 8th grade, Mackie Bravo. Very nice. All right, Mackie. All right, so this is the elementary school district students. Congratulations on your hard work. You'll get an individual, and I'll give these to you, but we'll get the corrected copies in your hand. My apologies for that. A little embarrassing. I hope staff doesn't make that mistake in the future. But thank you. Let's give them a big round of applause. All right, let's go up there, council, if we can join in, and yeah, let's hand these out, and then we'll move on to the other students. There we go. Clarissa? Clarissa, is that you? Which one's Clarissa? That's Clarissa. All right. Mariana? Marina. We'll get it correct. I apologize. Congratulations.
Yeah, I'm just
like that. If there's any misspellings, we'll get it. Here. Kimberly?
I'm sorry, these guys.
Why didn't you see how I moved over here? Tell him what he said, what he calls it.
Genesis, make sure you flip it for the picture.
And then this is for the all right. Well, let's get a picture in here. Somebody get in here. Come on. Get in here tight. Come on. Get in here.
I have what's standing up.
I'm on my tiptoes right here, you know? Everybody smile. Count 3. Big smile. 1, 2, 3. All right. Give them a big round of applause.
No, I can't. I got out of the military when I made that.
Okay, for the next picture, we stand up front. I don't think I'll be able to tiptoe. I won't be able to tiptoe my way out of that one. Thank you. Appreciate the support,
All right.
boss.
All right. Well, congratulations again. And a little embarrassed, to be honest with you. I want to make sure that we present something of value to each student when they're being recognized. And it is a little upsetting to me to have something and present it on our behalf that is not perfect. So we'll get them corrected for you. We'll make sure we make that right for you. So, all right. The next presentation is for the City of Brawley recognizes these Brawley Union High School BUHS students for hard work and dedication and participating at the California Migrant Education Program's 14th Annual ICOE MEP Region 6 Speech and Debate Tournament. This competition included 130 students from all over the Imperial Valley. The City of Brawley appreciates and recognizes your wonderful achievements at this year's competition. All right. So, again, names are misspelled or mispronounced. My apologies in advance. I'm starting to get a feeling that they might be. Sabina Sandoval. Deira Sofia Haro. Arlen Leyva. Violet Montes. And Wendy, last name? Can you? Abiton. Okay, Abiton. Big round of applause. She's at a swim meet. All right, ladies, if you could please let everybody know what you won, that'd be, I think, important. Fantastic. Fantastic.
First place on both makes it
And would you like to introduce yourself? There we go. Okay. Well, and who are your advisors? Well, let's give them a big round of applause. All right, let's go down there, take a picture, and we're gonna get you all your certificates. And here's the
Congratulations.
Congratulations. My hands are cold because it's cold in here.
I'll send it right next to you.
Oh, there you go. All right, and your names here.
That's what we don't want to see where you at.
Violet. Blue. There you go. Wendy. Let's give them a big round of applause and take a picture. Big smile. My hair messed up or no?
Yeah.
What is that funny girl? All right, congratulations, everybody. Thank you very much. Thank you. Let's give a big round of applause, everybody. I think so. Yeah. Thank you, my favorite sister, Irma. There we go. Yeah, it's a little chilly now. It's a little... Bro, every single one. Names? Dude, not just names, but like almost the wording is misspelled, mispronounced. You know, just like 4 misspelled words within the thing. And then the names.
Bye, see ya.
Like, dude. Yeah, attention to detail, man. That's what always is like.
Hey.
Take care, brother. Good to see you.
Awesome.
How are you?
How are you?
You would think the meeting is over.
Yeah.
Competition.
That's all we can do, right?
You know what I mean? Well, the room is cleared out. Look at that, you know? Yeah.
Entonces,
So, it's good to see you, gentlemen. Yeah. You here causing problems? What? Huh? Hey, they both smile together and everything.
they're the good guys.
They're the good guys. All right. Thank you, everybody, for your patience. We'll move on. Great presentations. I'm glad that those kids, young adults, were recognized, and I'm happy for them. Very, very happy for them. So, all right, consent agenda. Item 3, items are approved by one motion. Council members or members of the public may request consent items be considered separately at a time determined by the mayor. Is there a motion to approve the consent as written?
No motion.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next, the city manager report.
Nothing other than say that staff's going in a lot of different directions, a lot going on. It seems like we're even busier now than we were before. So.
Sure. Yeah. All right, thank you. Next item is regular business. Is 5A, discussion potential action to approve letter of support for State Senate Bill 583 to create a Salton Sea Conservancy. Legislation proposed by State Senator Stephen Padilla aims at centering the needs of local communities. This item previously tabled for March 21st, presented by Thomas Garcia, Assistant to the City Manager.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. Again, yes, this is SB 53 legislation proposed by the State Senator Stephen Padilla's office, and I believe we have Mario Renteria, who's here to answer any questions. And as you recall, this was tabled from our last council meeting for some additional information. So, ask Mr. Renteria if there's additional questions.
Absolutely, or you could sit there. Of course, come up. Renner, what do you? Come on. Come on, man. No, what do you?
I won't bite.
Good evening, everyone. Mario Renteria, District Representative for Senator Steve Padilla. For a moment, I was a little excited thinking that you had a large crowd here wanting to hear more about their legislative bills. Not just me, their legislative bills, but I guess not. Today, first of all, thank you for allowing us this moment. We are asking to support this letter for Senate Bill 583. What it will do is create a Salton Sea Conservancy. I received some questions from one of you council members, so I'll gladly, answer those questions first. And if you have any more, I can go ahead and answer those as well. First off, this conservancy would be made up of local entities, 7 to be exact. 3 appointed by the governor, 2 by the Senate, and 2 by the Assembly. There's specific language in there to say that they will be Imperial County residents, not state officials, not outside the county. The intent is to give this conservancy the power to be able to administer the programs, the funds that have been allocated for the Salton Sea in a very speedy manner, to be able to cut through some of the red tape that sometimes comes along the way. Another question was regarding the Salton Sea Authority and how this differs from that. The Salton Sea Authority is a joint powers authority made up by local stakeholders in the area. While they provide a very important service, and they've done a great job of bringing awareness and support for various programs in the sea, the one thing that they don't have is they don't have authority over other state departments that are administering the program with the Salton Sea. So when it comes time to making important decisions, transferring funds, they really don't have a stake in it. And that's what this conservancy will do. It will empower local people to be able to make those decisions, to help ensure that those funds, not that they're not being used appropriately, just to make sure that the programs are being implemented in a proper manner. The other one is
That's what local bodies and other organizations are.
So right now we're in communications with, we're in the initial stages of communication with other cities and organizations. We have received a letter from the city of Calipatria, and they actually voted on it last week. We're in communication with the city of Central. They're deciding it tonight. Tomorrow will be city of Calexico. We're in communication with the IID. I don't want to say where they stand because that's their decision, but we feel that conversation went well. And we're also talking to other local justice organizations in the community. And again, I don't want to speak for them and how they stand, but we feel like those conversations went really well. how does this play into Senator Padilla's vision regarding the sea? The Salton Sea is a major issue here in the Imperial County. I know that the spotlight is on lithium right now, but if we don't keep focus on the sea, it could easily turn into an ecological disaster. And that's something that we don't want. We don't want lithium coming here and turning right back around because there are so many issues, environmental issues, health issues that we already know are here, and they can get worse if we don't address them now. And there's another one that, we have a 10-year management program, but the Salton Sea issue is not a 10-year issue. It's something that's going to go on for many years after that. Even if we were to implement all of the programs, all of the funds, everything, and we get all those programs up in place, there's no assurance that 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now, another issue will arrive. And then there's the issue of water. In order to keep that Salton Sea at the level, we need water. We all know the issues that we're having right now with water everywhere. Who's to say that more other outside entities won't come in the future asking for more water, and then where's that going to leave the Salton Sea? And again, this conservancy will have the authority to fight for those rights and to be able to hold off those other entities at bay. I don't know, do you have any other questions?
Yes, so.
Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I know I motioned and I did provide the questions. I really appreciate the response, and I do want to apologize. I am a bit jaded when it comes to just anything about the Salton Sea. I look at recent. My daughter's in 5th grade. I remember being in elementary school around that same age and hearing the same thing: saving the sea, saving the sea. And yet, despite hearing that, I was in elementary school. Now I'm 33. Now she's in elementary school. Despite hearing saving the sea, the situation has gotten worse. Yeah. More exposed playa, more air particulate matter, and so it just comes to seeing these things of this is. Is this going to take us over the top? Right? Because it seems like the last decade or so, everything's meant to improve our quality of life, address it, and fix it, and yet it's gotten worse. And so I really appreciate the senator's efforts, state senator's efforts on this. I don't know the state senator. I've heard great things about him. I know he has some really great relationships with some of my friends. So I just want to see where it was stemming from and what his vision was. I know it says, the letter states that SB 585, quote, represents the first steps in conversations with the local community about what governance structure is most effective. And I guess these conversations have not been had. I've been to countless workshops, meetings. It seems like everything's been touched, from 2 lakes to vegetation to sprinklers. And so I guess this bill's going to have us talk about something that's never. I'm not trying to put you on the spot.
Right. No,
really
I understand. So I'll gladly give a little explanation about the bill. It's kind of, to get it going in the process, we had to submit it. As far as the actual governing process, the very specific actions of it, we're going to have conversations with local stakeholders about that, because we want the input as well. So, I mentioned some things that we're going to do with as far as governing, but at the same time, we want input as to who will be a part of that, so that it's not just the state telling you this is who it's going to be. This is who it's going to be. So we really want to have those conversations, and obviously those conversations take time. And these past 2-3 months, the whole state in Sacramento has been, submitting bills, talking to other people, this and that. So, but we plan to have those conversations this week. In fact, we're having those conversations now. We've already met with several different other stakeholders about other bills, issues, etc. And we are going to continue doing that as we, progress with the legislative process.
Mario, I'm sorry, I'm just diving in. Just one quick question.
Mm-hmm.
Any early indication at this stage of the bill process, committees, etc., and how bipartisan support, of course, in how the state overall, I think from a legislative standpoint, is viewing this conservancy?
It's kind of hard to tell. It's in the very initial process. It's going by first committee hearing. We are hopeful that it will go through just fine. We haven't heard any real negative opposition to it. You know, these conservancies are not something that are rare. We have them across the state for other areas, which are usually areas with more resources. So bringing it here, it kind of, for us, it kind of shows that, one, we have the importance of having a conservatorship, to make sure that everything is running smoothly. But so far, you know, I really can't say that we faced any negativity towards it.
In my understanding, reiterate, it is local appointees.
Yes, it will be local
that represent
appointees.
all a broad base of our stakeholders.
And that's one thing that, you know, we're working, some of the language already specifies that we want these people to be educated on the Salton Sea issue itself. We want them to be invested in the community. We want them to be, have knowledge of not just the Salton Sea, but the area itself, the economic issues, the socioeconomic issues, everything that we, you know, that would make them a strong candidate for these positions.
And it goes without saying, and I'll defer back to you, Mr. Mayor, and rest of council, but without the state's partnership and really behind that, even the federal support, this is a massive undertaking, as we've known for 20 plus years. So I think that part, like I said, is pretty obvious, but it's all in how it's going to happen, right? What the actual mitigations will be. So anyways, Mr. Mayor, that's all.
Yeah, thank you all very much. Any additional
I
comments?
just wanted to add that I want to thank you, Mr. Renteria, for taking my call Wednesday, and I appreciate the time. I know you're super busy. Senator's busy as well. You know, one of the items that I looked at this is obviously we are part of our discussion over the last decade or so is how slow the process is, right? And here at the city, we've emphasized limiting red tape, speeding up the process. And I think this does that at the state level and does it here locally, right? So I just want to express my support for this bill, and you know, I'd like to make a motion to approve this letter of support.
All right, is there any additional comments? No? There's a motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second. Further conversation? No? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries, thank you. So we have several review and discussion for requests for letters of support, and I brought these on to the agenda just to get the consensus of council for some of these that may or may not be controversial. And so I was, the city manager reached out the other day regarding a letter of support that the county had requested and hastily agreed to it. It was a last minute request, and quite honestly, right after that, it started getting a bunch of calls from everybody and their mother. So I just wanted to make sure that I don't put the city in any predicament, and we clear it up, you know, prior to you know, it going out for signature. But and we've agreed in the past, if it's non-controversial, yeah, cool. It's just like a basic letter of support. But these they can become that. So I want to make sure that we clarify those items before they're signed. Whatever the council's decision is, we go with that. So at any rate, we'll move on. Regular business. And I wasn't kidding about everybody and their mother calling me. I actually had somebody's mother call me about that. So, regular business 5B, review and discussion of council's position on the request for a letter of support to AB 1569, establishing a lithium offset development, potential action to approve letter of support as presented. And it's presented by Thomas Garcia, Assistant to City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor and City Council. Yes, again, this is a legislation proposed by Assemblymember Eduardo Garcia. And I'll just point out that the next two items are also legislation proposed by Assemblymember Garcia. And with us this evening, I believe we have Mr. Hernandez in the room, Guillermo Hernandez. He's the district representative. We also have on Zoom, I believe, Jesus Gonzalez, but I believe Mr. Hernandez is going to take the lead tonight and answer any questions. So you've got the supporting material for all three of these items. The first, as the mayor mentioned, AB 1569, and so we can answer and provide any information that's requested.
All right. Is there anything you'd like to share?
So good evening, Mayor, members of the council, city manager, city attorney Guillermo Hernandez, field rep for Office of Assemblymember Eduardo Garcia. So just a brief synopsis for the three bills that we have here. AB 1569, Salton Sea Geothermal Resource Area, Lithium Valley Office of Development. This bill aims to establish the Lithium Valley Office of Development. The office would be responsible for coordinating initiatives and timelines related to funding, economic development, construction, manufacturing, technical development, and reclamation of lithium in the Salton Sea Geothermal Resource Area. The goal is to promote responsible and coordinated development of lithium resources in the region, which could bring economic opportunities and benefits to the local communities. Would you like me to pause there or continue with the synopsis on the rest of the bills?
Is there questions? No? Yeah, continue, please.
Okay, so AB 1562, Governor's Office, Go Biz, and Economic Development, Southeast California Desert Valleys Economic Zone. Imperial County is currently, lumped into San Diego and the Eastern Coachella Valley into Riverside/Inland Empire Economic Zones, which makes it challenging to compete for grants. This bill proposes creating a regional economic zone for Southeast California Desert Valleys, including Imperial County, Eastern Coachella, and Palo Verde Valleys. The goal is to be recognized by federal, state, and local governments and eligible to compete for funding investments, thereby supporting economic development in the region. And the last one's AB 1593, Governor's Office of Business and Economic Development, Southeast California Desert Valleys Economic Zone. This bill sets up a framework and pipeline for potential community benefits and pre-apprenticeship programs for the emerging Lithium Valley industry. The aim is to ensure that locals have access to opportunities in the growing lithium industry and benefit from its economic development. Overall, these bills are aimed to promoting economic development, creating regional economic zones, and supporting the emerging Lithium Valley industry, while also prioritizing community benefits and local opportunities. Thank you for your attention to these important matters.
Thank you. With respect to council, any questions on any of these proposed letters of support?
I got 20 for you. No, can I motion to approve those three?
You could make a motion unless there's a desire by council to maybe not approve one or whatever. So yeah, if that's your desire, go for it.
Yeah, motion to.
I'd like just to first take a moment to congratulate Guillermo here, who is just had his wife had a baby, a few days ago, 3 days ago.
Congratulations.
And he's out here working. What are you doing, man? Stay home for a minute.
What's up,
Gotta put up.
Yeah, no, I like congratulations. These are good bills. They're meant to help local folks who are trying to come up, learn a trade, especially in a new emerging technology, right? And so this helps our local folks get into the industry and obviously move up the trades. Just as an example, today, I'm working out in Desert Center right now, and I met a young man who was telling me he's from Brawley. Then I told him who I was, and he was in shock, like, "Oh,
what did he say?
The mayor pro tem is here working
wow.
with me." I had a
Let's see how.
like, this is the mayor pro tem.
Yeah, there you
he
go.
literally said it like that. He had a shovel. I had a shovel.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm an inside journeyman wireman. I work the trade. So, and he's a laborer, and he was able to get on these projects through access to a lot of these apprenticeships locally, and now he's able to travel and follow the work. And he said he's been to many states. He makes very good money, by the way.
Did you impress him with all the people that you know? Is that what
I told him I was best friends with the mayor, and he goes, "There is no way." I said, yes way, yes
and then he was
way.
like, yeah, that's good. All right.
Anyways,
there's a motion. There's a
second that
motion for B, C, and D. Is there a second?
A second.
There's a second. Any discussion? All those in.
If I could just real quick, Mayor, I just wanted to point out that in the information, the staff report, we did get just a small information from our new lobbyist group, Townsend Public Affairs. I hope you found that helpful, and just as that, to recognize that's a tool for you. They were very quick to respond and take a look at the language and give us their feedback. So I just wanted to point that out.
Thank you very much. All right, there's a motion and a second. All those in favor of the motion is to approve B, C, and D. Aye. Aye. Yeah. Any opposed? Any opposed? No? All in favor? Ayes were, and it passed. B, C, and D passed. Thank you. Perfect, thank you very much for your visit here.
Go home, dude.
Discussion of potential action to approve letter to Congressman Raul Ruiz regarding sudden increase of mail theft presented by Councilmember Gil Revelar.
Yeah, so just speaking with residents, speaking with law enforcement. Not only that, you're seeing this across the country and state. There's been even some legislation being pushed forward regarding this issue. That's something that happens locally, but over federal, the post office, which is federal oversight, and might have rushed into this letter, but I figured, hey, there's an issue. Let's try to address it. I think that's what my philosophy. So here's a letter to, I believe our PD has put resources. So here's our local PD being strained as it is already, trying to address this issue that does have federal oversight. And so at the very least, bring attention to an issue within our city that does have, like I said, federal oversight, and it's tax season, so mail's being all around, and your stolen identity can, one piece of stolen mail can make things very difficult for someone. And so this was a letter to send to our congressman, just bring attention. But obviously, appetite of the board if they'd like to move forward with it, but just something I want to put forth for discussion or action.
Thank you. Chief, you're in the audience here. I know that I spoke to you briefly previously about some of the efforts you're taking on. Would you come up here and maybe share that? He's got a prepared letter right there. Look at that.
You look good in a jacket.
I saw you
Chief.
chasing
What's-
out
you running
Dr.
for
Tyson.
office?
What was that?
Well, yes, Mayor, as you said it, we spoke before. I just got to remind the community, whenever things happen, a lot of times we don't go public on what we're doing. But yeah, I think the community needs to know that we are very proactive nowadays. So when something like this happens, it doesn't go under the radar. We're not ignoring it. A lot of times we are limited by our resources. It's a reality, but it doesn't mean we're going to allocate resources best we can. What we did is we take this matter seriously, and I want to give you an example of how serious this is. Last year, we investigated a case in which stemmed from a mail theft. We ended up with 200 victims. We're still working this case. And as Mr. Rebriard says, there is federal oversight on this type of crimes. But my experience tells me different. Throughout the years, throughout my 25 years of law enforcement experience, I have investigated several cases like this. And even a case like this one with 200 victims. And I didn't make note of how much money was stolen, because what happens, they steal checks, they steal accounts, and it all translates into money being stolen. Sure. That's a reality. They still haven't taken this case from us. We have boxes and boxes of evidence of postal, mail that we recovered, that we still have to catalog, properly process as evidence, and they're really saying, we can't take the case over until you have it ready for us. In other words, it's kind of like they want it ready for prosecution. And I'm going to say this public because that's what it comes down to. Because they are strained for resources too. They only have like one postal inspector to work like part-time here in the Valley. So they don't say that because they don't want to help. It's because they can't. They can't. So we're still working this case. We're still processing all this evidence that we have. And I wish I would have brought a picture, because it's boxes and boxes. And again, as you know, we are strained with our investigative efforts, but this is the kind of work that we have to do. Now, going back to the matter at hand, what is happening now in our community, I know there's been quite a few boxes. As a matter of fact, I was just talking to the postmaster about 5 days ago, because we're trying to strategize what can we do. So we have even discussed replacing and moving some of these boxes that have been hit to locations where there is more lighting available. That's something that we're trying to work with them. I know we can't relocate all of them, but we're doing what we can. We did contact the postal inspector again on this new case, and they're telling us they can't allocate any resources. We asked them if they had any technology available. I mean, we went through the whole drill just to make sure that we didn't leave any stone unturned. What we did from our end, we did authorize overtime to have officers out there checking the areas. We already done 3 details, and we have some more coming up. But again, it is very hard to locate these individuals because they're so random. It's hard to know when they're going to hit. So it really requires round-the-clock surveillance. We are making contact with the community, asking for footage. We only have 1 video so far, very grainy. And that's our biggest request for the community, that if they see anything, they hear anything, they need to provide it to us. We did put a message out on our Neighbors app in the hope that people would help us out. So again, we are doing as much as we can possibly can with the amount of manpower and resources that we have.
Thank you for that clarification, Chief.
If I could make a comment. Sure. After our meeting, our 2-on-2 with IID chief, and we discussed this issue, I did call the congressman's representative here, he was a council member at City Hall Central, Tomas Oliva. And he said that it was the first that he's heard of it. This was his last Wednesday, I believe, or was the day that we met. I don't remember. And I'm hoping I reached out today again after I saw the letter. So it was coincidence, right, that all this crossed. And he says that he will be seeking a meeting soon with you to see how they can help with the resources. One item that we discussed, though, was that being municipality, it's a new municipality issue, right? So based on where it's happening, obviously that's why it limits what they can do. Obviously there are resources available, but we didn't know to go into that much depth last time, you and I. But it is something that we did discuss last week, and that they're well aware of now. And so they are willing to help, and they're willing to step up in any way that they can. So, and this is coming from the senior field rep, Tomas Oliva. So, who I talked to again today on yes, I don't know. And I've talked to him twice since you and I met last week, or the mayor and you and I. So hopefully something can come of that.
Yeah, if I could add, I hope, Chief, no way this was me taking it as you weren't doing it. I know you in the PDR. One thing you brought up, though, you said postal inspectors. That we have one that covers the entire Imperial County part-time.
Yeah.
Okay, well.
Yeah, it's very similar to DMV investigators. We only have like one part-time DMV investigator that covers this whole county. So a lot of times, we would never think that's the case, but unfortunately that's the case.
Yeah, it seems like we probably need a full-time.
Yes.
I mean,
I think we've got to be a little bit careful. I'm sure there's shortages on number of
there's
deputy
shortages
sheriffs, shortages on number of medics.
Pretty much
go down the list. There's a lot of critical services.
There is a lot of critical.
It's okay to demand. I think the county of Valley deserves someone who can dedicate at least more than part-time to our mail. I think we all get mail, especially our seniors. I think if we're going to have that conversation, then I think that's something we need to break up. And a part of this letter was to just get the discussion going, just to see what's going on. Like I said, this inspector, I don't think, we need more.
I mean, the amount of work that the police department's putting in, you'd be surprised. I mean, we went in there.
I know.
We got a tour that we got, and just to see how much is happening with with limited resources. I mean,
and this, like I said,
hats off to the chief and to the staff.
And this letter's not to the PD in any way. This letter's to
No.
provide even more.
We understand that.
I
just wanted to make clarification. It was more for the public than for the council.
Thank you, Chief. I appreciate that. So what's the desire of council at this point?
Mr. Mayor, I only had a few questions. In absolute respect, I think the intent is absolute spot on, Councilmember. I mean, there's an issue. We need to communicate it. I didn't realize we've already had contact with Tomas, and I think those are all appropriate steps. The other thing, don't forget, we have federal assets that are embedded within the PD. I mean, I would much rather see that continue because that's what's helping us fight multiple times, including this, right? So it's real important. I just thought some of the language, especially toward the bottom, we need to be specific on what the ask might be. And maybe strong to the point, I don't want to cut our nose to spite our face. That's my only comment.
I would hope the federal government would not cut resources over a letter.
I mean, one of the things that I would say is I managed to do many years before council is always when I pick up make a phone call, we managed to get a lot of stuff done. And I commend what you put up. I think it's good. It's good to bring attention to this matter, right, and put it out there. But I don't know. Getting in the congressman's shoes, I'd be like, what the heck? I thought we were already on this. And now why are you sending me a letter? So I don't have any desire to move this letter forward, send it to the congressman. So, like I said, we kind of, the work already started. And today I made sure I made another call, see where are we at on this. And he said, you're coming. And obviously, the question is how much can the congressman do? But yeah, I agree. Maybe perhaps more resources to fund some of these positions. And that's a great conversation to have. And so expect a call from the congressman's office, Chief.
Yeah, if like I said, in those conversations, like I said, the need, I'd like maybe the need for a full-time inspector for our valley.
That'd be nice.
And then as well as, what concerns me right now is, overtime. With our budget is, money's tight everywhere. And, that overtime can have any office, any department where it puts a strain, not just financially, but mentally, emotionally. And so yeah, just get more resources.
I think you bring up a good point, but maybe we can rephrase the lettering on that. I think would be important as well, just so it's inclusive of something we just learned collectively here, which is the need maybe for a full-time person out here.
At least one full-time.
Right,
Maybe-
and so,
maybe more.
but because you do bring up some good points with respect to elderly receiving mail and those sorts of things, and then identity theft, and then it does sound like Chief is not only sounds like it. I know that they're working on these cases, so that's important. And then hearing from Mayor Pro Tem Castro with respect to his conversation with the congressman's representative. But I would like to see maybe a letter in the future, maybe rephrasing things a little bit and adding that. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw this,
Yeah.
and I think I wrote it when I heard a lot of
Late at night, huh?
my bad.
Late at night.
My bad. Yeah, no, I read it too, and I was like,
Yeah.
so I get you.
Well, why don't we bring it back in the future and we could maybe rephrase it. How about that?
Yeah, I think right now, like with the ask, I think we got some real good framework, and I think
Good.
we get some other cities' inputs as well. So, yeah, thank you.
Well, thank you. We'll move forward. Thank you very much for bringing this to the attention of the city staff and to us as well. All right, the next item is item F, discussion potential action to approve sale of alcohol and a waiver of all city street closure fees for the Chamber of Commerce for Greater Brawley's Imperial Valley Taco Festival, presented by Rachel Fonseca, Parks and Recreation Manager. All right.
Good evening, members of the council. Rachel Fonseca, Parks and Recreation Manager. So Parks and Recreation received a request from the Chamber of Commerce to hold their annual taco festival on Main Street Friday, May 5th. It is the same setup as last year. There were no issues last year, and the Chamber has two requests for council approval. The first is the waiver of all city fees associated with the event and permission to sell alcohol between the hours of 5 p.m. to 10 p.m.
All right. I know just for the desire of council from past decisions we've made, I would like to break this item out into just approving the event, and then we can do the alcohol if we could, please.
I just, one question. I know, Rachel, I spoke with you outside about this. Just, that's like when we, do get the request, I would like to see the fees exactly. And I say that because, last time for the Cesar Chavez event, we had the fees, the number. We had this fee, and it was, okay, we're waiving this and waiving this. And with this, sometimes just, I don't know, what are we waiving?
$500 street closure fee.
That's it?
That's every time, that's what we waive.
What's the actual cost of every time we close on
This event was, Rachel?
The estimate or the activity from last year was $3,300.
And that, I know it's difficult to ascertain exactly how much, just because of, things are going up in cost with respect to personnel and administrative costs and all the time dedicated. So I know it's just a close estimate, but it is in the thousands of dollars. Yeah.
We do track everything that we
Yeah.
can now with
Yeah.
our new system. We have project codes for every event, and we track the labor, we track what we expense. As an example, porta potties, if we have to buy those. But yeah,
However,
you're never
many
going to capture.
sheets, the sheets in the porta potty.
You're
it's
never
tracked.
going to capture everything, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But we do.
No,
We
yeah.
do a very good job of capturing.
Yeah, but not
what we
even,
can.
yeah. I just, like I said, that 500, I like whenever
Yeah,
we have it,
sure.
just to have that. Here's that $500, we know.
It should stay.
And I will say, I know it says co-sponsor. I know the last event for the chamber, I think we did waive the fees, but I didn't see us listed as a co-sponsor. And so,
I think that moving forward, we talked about if we're going to be waiving fees that were featured as, it's in our in-kind contribution. That would be it.
Is there anyone from the chamber?
They were not able to make it.
So we last time we did discuss perhaps shrinking the footprint of this event, and I know they have two stages, closing off two sides. We discussed perhaps bringing it into the plaza area so that we wouldn't have to close down so many areas, minimizing the cost to the city, right? And I noticed that there was no change, meaning that the chamber didn't take into consideration our comments at all. So I mean, I want to support them, right? But do you get where I'm coming from?
I do, and I think, quite honestly, and here's my take on things, and this is going to go a little further, but over the course of time, years that I've been here, and aside from council, the events that I've participated in, it's like there have been a lot of people that had a lot of experience in event coordination, management, the logistics, and that slowly has gone away. So it's a lot of new faces that are working on events, and we're going through a little bit of a learning curve. So even Dr. Tyson's comments today, I think, are well appreciated because he brings up a good point with respect to his business and parking things outside. And those are the things that we do have to consider. Now, with respect to shrinking that may be a very good idea. You know, just because it limits our exposure, it limits, you know, the number of streets that are closed, those sorts of things. And I think, quite honestly, we do need to have a team of people and not just Parks and Rec, because I'm not even sure if this far, and no disrespect to Rachel, but I'm not even sure if this really falls into the Parks and Rec environment, to be quite honest with you. I know it is a public event, but it involves a lot of public works, think about that, PD and others, you know, so it's more than one person, and there probably needs to be a good contact person for the day of logistics and, you know, that kind of thing. So learning curve for everybody, but I think all good points that everybody's bringing. You know,
one thing. Does the chamber have a yearly calendar of events that just because it seems like a month before they come before us, and it's like, you know, it's something that we could see in a year.
They do, and they've had the same events for probably the past like 3 years.
Yeah,
or 2
and
years,
just so we kind of like what Dr. Tyson said, just so we know, they know. It's like here's the days for 2022, 2023. That you're going to be, that we can also for us financially, just so we can know that we're going to put this money
and maybe
aside
even
away.
narrow the footprint. You know, I mean, we're getting off discussion, but maybe even narrowing the footprint so it's not all of everything.
So I have a question, Tyler. Maybe you can answer this. If we just move the stages into the plaza area, how much money does that save for the city? None.
I would estimate none.
Yeah, none.
The staff time's the same. The barricades are still the same. The only would be
the traffic control,
maybe a little bit of cleanup,
Yeah.
but it's just concentrated. But
Well, that's my concern.
but then again, it's probably less impactful on
downtown. Yeah, so that's a consideration, and then the traffic control and everything else. There's definitely a way to make that work. That's a lot of space at the plaza.
Yeah,
a lot of space.
Yeah. I was thinking, have we ever like had events more maybe east? Downtown Main Street?
Yeah, we've had more.
Would that be easier since you're not having to close down like that diamond? Would it be easier to just close off that portion of Main Street, that east?
The 500-600 block?
Yeah.
600 block, yeah.
Like
We've had them.
Like from Inferno down to 6th Street or whatever that is.
We've had them, and this is prior to me being on council, but we've had them, and it's just, what happens is that the audience gets spread way out, and so it just wasn't like really, conducive to people hanging out. And I think we have our guest here.
That's what I was going to say. I think we have.
He's been wanting to share something. Look, his lips are moving on the picture even.
His ears are ringing.
You know? Ramiro, how are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Good, brother. We're actually, just having a discussion with respect, and I'm sure you're listening in, with respect to the chamber's request, and more, we're having a conversation about the logistics of other events as well. So it's not just aimed at the chamber. But anything you want to share with us?
Yeah. So first of all, I want to apologize. My son's fourth birthday today, and I completely forgot about the meeting. And then Rachel texted me, so I want to apologize for being late.
Well, happy birthday to your son, first of all. Yeah.
Yeah, I know you guys have a question regarding the event. Like I said, this has been our fourth. This is the fourth time that we do this Taco Festival. It's been 7 years grown. I think last year we had 17 contestants and 54 regular small business vendors throughout the valley. So we try to work with the city. I know we meet a lot right before we do these events, and we try to make it, the best possible for all the businesses located around the plaza area, as well as whatever easier for the city logistically with road closures. And we're always really appreciative of the city helping us out with road closures and staff time and all that stuff. So I don't know if there's any way that we can save maybe I think of the staff time. What is the biggest concern here, or how much the city's spending to close down the street. I don't know how we can work that out.
Yeah, no, I appreciate the comments and the thought there. Before us is just a decision to make for tonight. I think we can certainly have a greater conversation, and I think we do need to organize our events in a better way. So, what's a desire of council at this point? Let's just.
I think you're looking at
maybe
Two
splitting that up.
resolutions,
Yeah.
so I'll go and make a motion for moving forward with the event as presented by our Parks and Rec
And
director.
waiving of fees?
And I believe we set that precedent, so at least for this year.
Okay.
Unless we echo something different.
So the motion is to
yes.
approve the event itself and waive fees. Is there a second?
I'll second with the caveat to go inform Dr. Tyson right after.
Ramiro, will we be listed as a sponsor this time?
Who is that?
The city of Brawley. This is.
Yeah, I believe that. I believe the last couple of events that we're still working together. We've listed you guys as a sponsor. We try to help out with as much as we can. I know that last year we helped out with that state of the city address. So we try to help out with whatever we can. I know maybe that might be much, but we're always open to helping as much as we can. Of course, we'll list you guys all as sponsors. I mean, if you guys want to be judges, be my guest. That's open as well.
Well, Ramiro, this is George now. The reason that questions asked is that would be the trade-off for waiving the fees. We've asked for the consideration with all events that we're engaged in, nonprofits that we're engaged with, to be listed as a sponsor for the event. So that would be a caveat there as well.
Oh yeah, totally understandable. I completely agree. We have no objection to that.
Thank you.
Hey, Ramiro, this is Ramon Castro. Thank you for coming on. Happy birthday to your son.
It's his birthday.
So I can see how the mix-up would come on.
No, we have to move
yeah,
on.
just so you know, what we've been discussing in the past is obviously the footprint and working with the city to reduce costs. So I appreciate you coming on and listening in on that. So going forward, would really like all personnel brought in so that we can assist with that, right? Because the costs go much further, than the $500 that we charge, and then we're waiving them. So the city's pretty invested in it, right? A few $1,000s into every event. And when you add it up at the end of the year, we'll make sure we have it as a line item at the end of the year so you can see how much money the city is spending supporting the event. So, no, but we appreciate you coming on, and that's all I have.
And we do have a motion and a second. So I would like to take, unless there's any further comment on that, I'd like to take action.
One more thing, Romero, thank you for copping on. Like I said, I called for a calendar events for the year, so something maybe like in the beginning of our fiscal year, we can approve here and waive the fees for this event, so then you wouldn't have to come up here every event to. That make sense?
Makes sense.
Yeah. So it's like something like where the events are going to be. We know, hey, this, and it just helps us prepare, helps you prepare. I think save some time if we can get calendar events, and we can even, like I said, just plan accordingly. And
All
so,
right. Yeah. Well, we do have a motion and a second. I'd like to take a vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right. And then is there a second motion for the second part?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a second motion for the approval of the alcohol permit for that event.
All right.
Second.
There's a second. There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Nay.
All right. Motion carries. Thank you all very much. Thank you, Ramiro. We'll catch up soon. I know you got to get back to your son's birthday party. Happy birthday. All right. Thank you. Let's move on.
Mr.
All right.
Mayor,
Next.
Could I just make a couple comments?
Sure, of
about
course.
that? And it's small potatoes, but it's politically a hot potato.
Sure.
Some small hot potatoes, and it's
Small hot potatoes.
It's the topic that comes up almost every year, and especially as budget season comes around, and as we face more budgetary difficulties of waiving of fees, and when we talk about cost recovery, and we're doing studies, right, about all the different fees that we charge as a city for the services that we provide. But I think it's a very important point to make that when we're waiving a $500 fee, but the actual cost is $3,000 or more. And I get comments from both sides. One, how in the world does it cost that much to put up some barricades?
I can tell you why. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, and the cost of everything has gone up over the years, and here we are still keeping it at $500 and still waiving that, 1/4 of the cost or 1/8 of the cost. And so I just think that as Donnie mentioned, well, this year, this is what we're going to do for this year, but in the next year we may have to decide.
But maybe even later this year, to be quite honest, we waived a lot of stuff because of COVID.
Right.
And that was like, okay, but that is not the case anymore.
Yeah.
People are back to normal. I'm sorry to interrupt, but anyway, yeah.
No, but it's a good point to make. And of course, COVID shut down a bunch of events anyway.
Yeah.
So there wasn't that outlay of cost. But
that's right.
But as every new unfunded mandate gets handed down, as whether it's has to do with CalPERS, it's going to hit us with our employees, our employee costs. Everything costs more. Every service that we provide that involves city employees or city staff, there's an hourly rate or a salary amount that goes with each one of those services. And so I just think it's going to be difficult to bring that topic up and discuss it in public, but it's a discussion that has to be had.
I think that's a very good point, and it's like we have to sort of balance that, because we don't want people to be discouraged from having community events, because it's for our community.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're right. I mean, it is just a $500 fee. And I mean, if you can't incorporate that into your event, I've had many events, and that's just part of doing business, brother. You know what I mean? So,
absolutely.
So, all right. Well, thank you all very much. I appreciate the comment too. We'll move on. Discussion, potential action to approve resolution 2023, providing the city manager or designee certain authorizations related to the administration of various grant programs through the Department of Resources, Recycling and Recovery, CalRecycle, presented by Stephen Mireles, Senior Environmental Compliance Officer. That's a fancy title, brother. For a fancy man, you know what's up.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, City Manager, members of the Council, City Attorney, for having me today. My name, again, is Stephen Mireles. I'm the Senior Environmental Compliance Officer for the City of Brawley. In 2011, the state of California began to pass a series of laws related to the way that we manage our waste, specifically our solid waste streams. In those laws, they established unfunded mandates that basically require the city to regulate our business community, as well as our commercial community, and even our residential community as well. Some of those laws, again, require us to spend money that we don't have in order for us to address and comply with those requirements. And there are some grant opportunities that have become available to the City of Brawley. And so this resolution allows the city manager to, or their designee, it would be either a member of the city, or we could also leverage our relationship with IVRMA, which is the Imperial Valley Resource Management Agency as well, for us to be able to pursue some of these grant opportunities. This resolution was first passed by the City Council, I think, in 2016. So we're a little bit, we just want to renew that resolution to make sure that we are showing that we're giving that authorization back to the city manager to pursue these opportunities.
Thank you. All right, the desire of council. Not everybody at once, please.
Yes, I'll go and make a motion for the extension, I think, or the renewal, I should say, and move forward with that as recommended.
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. Appreciate it very much. Armando, would you mind closing that blind? I feel like El Cucuy's going to get me back there. I don't know.
La Llorona peeking in.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like when I wake up at night and the closet door's open. I don't know.
That is scary.
It scares me.
Too?
It scares me. You know? Look at Lucas and Cucuy. He's red, man. You believe in Cucuy too, brother? You know? See, look at he's all red. All right, there we go. All right. Thank you, Armando. I appreciate it. Look at Armando smiling back there too. He's like, all right. Next item is discussion potential action to approve professional services agreement with Holt Group, Inc. for interim city planning services and authorize the city manager to execute the contract and related documents. Presented by Thomas Garcia, Assistant to the City Manager.
Good evening again, Mayor and Council. Again, yes, this is for some interim planning services for our planning development. As this council is well aware, there's been a lot of transition and work going on to restructure both our public works and planning department. Studies going on with that and a lot of discussion, a lot of work. Again, and this council's actually been involved with some of that and seen those studies and involved with that conversation. So our planning development services, there's some key positions in there that are vacant. As part of that redevelopment, the Job descriptions have been rewritten, and the city manager is looking to fill those positions. But in the interim time right now, the work's still got to continue, and we need some help in there. So this is asking for approval of this contract with the Holt Group. And we have Cynthia Mencha present here with us from the Holt Group. And I'm not sure. So it's Cynthia here. And
it's actually known as Holt University. Holt University. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. That's where all the planning and engineers go to learn. And so that's what they're doing. Anyway, that's good.
So we'd be happy to answer any questions.
Just one question. I clearly we read the backup material, and we have a long working relationship certainly with the Holt Group, as they do with most of the agencies in the Valley, and I'm sure maybe even beyond. But my only question is just to further frame this, how important this is. Approximately how many projects? I know that at one point or another in public works we might be looking at 3 dozen, 35, 36, it could be even more than that. Yeah. Yeah.
I think I'm talking super loud, but I'm not. Good evening, Mayor and Honorable Mayor and City Council members. So just on the time, since the time that I've been serving as interim city planner, we've been meeting weekly to get caught up with the projects that have been needing to be reviewed. We have conditional use permits, some site plans, and we're really pleased to be able to help the city in the interim keep those projects moving forward.
And our housing element, which is a very important piece that we need to finish.
Yep.
So exactly. So we've been successful with 2 cities that we helped complete their housing element and get those housing elements certified for the city of Calipatria and for the city of Hopeville. It is a very meticulous process. Even larger cities, much larger than any of the cities in Imperial County, have been having a struggle to get those housing elements certified. So first or second week, we were able to get in contact with the director of HCD and get some really good feedback, and even receive some resources that they're willing to help us to get that housing element certified.
Yeah, that's fantastic. No, perfect. And I think that's important. And one last thing is just how many of these do have timing sensitivity associated with it because of particular funding for many of these projects. So pretty important. And as it relates back to this, again, appreciate the ongoing working relationship with the whole group.
Is there a motion? Is that a motion?
I'll make a motion.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
There's a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. Thank you. Appreciate you very much. Thank you. All right, so the next item on the agenda is discussion potential action to approve memorandum of understanding between the Imperial Community College District and the City of Brawley. MOU will allow continued use of city facilities for conducting ICCD classes.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. As stated, this is renewing the MOU that we currently have that should be, I believe, expiring June 30th. So getting this lined up for the next cycle. And it's, again, the Imperial Valley College provides community courses here locally in Brawley, and they utilize our facilities, so just an MOU between the two.
All right, thank you. Is there a motion to approve this item?
Motion.
There's a motion. Is there a second? All right, thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Just wanted to point out real quick, and maybe the city attorney can expand on it a little bit, but there's been just a slight change of the wording from a lease to a license.
Right.
So
it's a legal distinction. A lease means that the lessor has exclusive.
Right.
Where a license, the licensee has shared use. It's important.
And the ongoing with other agencies or organizations that are using our facilities, we're going to incorporate that language into all those moving forward.
Thank you. All right, motion carries. Next item is informational reports in June 2020. Well, it says 2022 record of building permits, but I believe that's, well, no, it is June 2022, right?
On the
yeah.
backup is.
Yeah, I'm sorry. And so, yeah, that's, anyway, it's there for your information. Next item is city council member reports. We'll start with council member Hamby.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd first like to start off by wishing my mother a happy birthday. It's her birthday today.
Happy birthday.
My mama Linda.
There we go.
I won't tell you her age, but next year she will have reached 8 decades, so she's still doing well, and
fantastic.
I'm thankful to have both my parents. I was honored today to attend a Imperial County Board of Supervisors meeting as they read a proclamation, as we did at our last meeting, recognizing Autism Awareness Month. And lately I've had the opportunity to play music quite a bit. Had a few concerts that I played violin for. And one thing that I think is impactful for the Valley, as far as the arts go, is that we have, over the years, have produced some pretty good talent from our Valley here. Our district attorney, George Marquez, comes from a large family, and his older brother, Arturo, is a composer and is world-renowned. And anyway, we played a few of his compositions, and they're very, very well written. They're enjoyable to play, and that transmits to the audience. The audience really enjoys hearing those pieces. And so we've a couple of the concerts that we've played lately, we've played some of Arturo's pieces, and George Marcus has come to, speak a little bit about his family and his brother. And Arturo also sent a video thanking us for playing his piece. But I mean, this is, if you go on YouTube, he's got millions of views and symphonies around the world that have played his pieces. So it's impressive that someone, with ties to Imperial County, to El Centro, and to the Valley has become that famous, and we get to benefit from that and enjoy his work. And so, yeah, I actually had the opportunity to meet Arturo at George Marcus's swearing-in ceremony when he became district attorney, because a lot of his family was there. So that was an honor to meet him and share a little bit about his music. But other than that, I've just been working hard in my own personal business and appreciating the work that our city does, our city staff and employees, and my fellow council members. We have issues that are presented to us almost daily. Some that we bring to council that we speak about, and some that we just it's part of the job. But I have a real appreciation for the work that each of us puts into this position. It's we don't do it for the money, because there's not much that comes from being in this position. But I think we all view it as a labor of love for our community, and a responsibility that we're all willing and happy to take on. So, thank you.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Hamby. Appreciate it. Glad you were able to perform. That's great. All right, Councilmember Revelor.
Yeah, like you said, Councilmember Hamby. I think I got like 2 or 3 checks I got to go pick up across the street. So, there was a food truck Friday. I think 2 weeks ago. It's cool. I know some backed out, but I think. I hope we can see it continue, not just be a one-off. I think it's something like that builds upon by consistency. So whether it's once a month or weekly, I hope we can see it continue on regularly. I think that's something where you develop a buzz, and where first Friday, or last Friday, or second Friday, where people can know where to go on that Friday after work, Friday evening. But it was really cool. I had some hot dogs, took my daughter, and so. I think we'll just see different opportunities utilizing our park, that plaza, and I commend the city for going forward with that. I hope we can build upon that. There was an update by Department of Toxic Substances also about 2-3 weeks ago, providing an update on the Pure Growth site, and it seems like they're nearly completion. It was commend the council, commend the community and advocates that put in the work to bring justice. Just some more. I know there's some discussion on the water underneath in that situation. But it's progress, and I think by summer they're expected to be done. Yeah, right. So once again, hats off to the community for putting in the work. And last, I think we have some vacancies, and so and that has a compounding effect. once a position is vacant, it's not like those duties disappear. It just gets put on the next person, and then then people are just trying to just stay afloat, and so it has a compounding effect. So they feel these, I'd like to see a discussion, and I think I brought this up before. With just what are we doing to not just attract talent to Brawley and compete with other cities and counties, because everyone's looking. It seems like a finance officer. Everyone's looking for planners. Everyone's looking for just help. So now we're competing, not just outside the valley, which many people do, now locally. And so, but also, we're to prepare what we have and what we're working with for that succession, for these opportunities that open up. It's not always about, grass can always grow on the other side. But sometimes you don't have to look out. You can look within. And so, once we get these, obviously, with respect to our city administration, our HR, but just having this conversation, doesn't mean incentive, doesn't mean the 4-day work week, doesn't mean.
Why do you look at me?
You're down. Or just, these conversations, much like, I guess, how we had like the mail thing, there was no action, but it got the conversation going. It got us where we want to be. And I know Brawley's a great place. I know it's a really great place to work. But, always got to think forward to the future and what's next. And so, I can work with administration, Tyler, once you start filling these in. Eventually, so we can start having these, discussing these policies. Like I said, going back, one more thing, I did take part in a emergency preparedness training for officials the other day, and just talking about preparing and having things in place, to succeed. And so I'd like to visit our HR whole system moving forward in the future. So that concludes my report. And happy Easter, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Ward?
Mr. Mayor, just check off, I know did attend the California League Division meeting with my fellow council members, and Mr. Mayor, you and Pro Tem, we did represent, and it was very well attended, and I think usually the town pump is, prior for that reason, but also including obviously early in the year, so. I just want to kind of give a sort of a council shout out for me about the recent announcement of PMH becoming the base station within here in the valley. And there might be a lot of people out there that don't really know what that is or what the function of that is, but it is tremendously important to the emergency medical services system here in Imperial County, as well as any other county in the state of California. And I think some of the consequences of not having a local designated base station were socialized in the newspaper. But again, without getting into that, just a shout out for all those that helped to make that happen. I know the chief well engaged in that topic, and kind of what I consider my day job directly affected, because it is ambulance, EMTs, paramedics, standing orders, and that key very vital communication that takes place from the field to the hospital, depending on where the patient's going. So I'm happy to see that anchored. And then lastly, this is really just meant to be a comment. The noise issue downtown, obviously that's been front and center in our public comment. And I believe we even had I think a study session where we brought some information. So there's a lot, obviously, I guess, sentiments being shared, but really taking it upon myself, but certainly on behalf of council, to lean in. So I did have what I would consider strong and cogent dialogue with one of the key stakeholders representing really the owner of Ciudad Plaza. And I know it extends further than that with the actual residents. So it's my intention to continue that dialogue. I thought we're off to a good start. I had some early conversations weeks back with Mayor Pro Tem Castro, really representing also the interests, obviously, of the businesses, and 805 specifically with the owner. So we're going to continue down that road with the idea that potential resolution may be between the parties. I don't want to promise anything because, again, it's still early. But if nothing else, maybe informing us more on what potential solutions can look like. I know we've tossed around ordinance. Not saying that won't happen, but the hope is that as we can learn more of the very specifics, if there's a quicker solution, hopefully we can get there. But again, no promises, but conversations have started, and I just want to share that.
Thank you very much.
Councilmember Wharton. All right, Mayor Pro Tem Casper.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. You know what, and I'll follow up with that. And I'd like to just publicly thank both of you, Councilmember Warren and Mayor Nava, who have been doing this for a long time. You guys have wrestled with issues over and over the last decade or however long it's been. And so on this one, since I've been in contact with the owners of 805 and some of the other businesses in the downtown area, and Councilmember Warren reached out to me to find a way to fix this, right, without going into so much trouble. And obviously, obviously what's happening, and we saw the public comments today, and we want to bring it and create a win-win situation for everyone involved. So I do appreciate you taking the time to reach out to me and obviously show us a little more how this works, right? I mean, our position sometimes can just be ceremonial, right? We come up here, we could rubber stamp everything, we could just say okay, or look the other way. But we take it serious, right? It's a privilege to be here, and like Council Member Hamby said, we don't do this for the money, obviously. So, we do this because we love our community and we want to continue to help. So, let me start with my report. It's a little long, so I apologize. I know we've been at it for a while now.
Put the time around.
So we did it. So obviously, I mentioned the meeting with 805, and I mentioned a couple of my meeting with Oliva, so we can cross that out. And I also mentioned the item, the gentleman that I mentioned. I want to report on that because I was just very happy to see that, the gentleman that I met at work. So Food Truck Friday, so we appreciate the work. I know that, when did we start with this conversation? A couple of months back, right? And we expected something in a bigger turnout, but I'll tell you that the folks that did come down, they made quite a bit of money. They were very happy. We also went down there. We saw our firefighters down there. We saw some other city staff down there supporting the event. So let's keep it going. I mean, it's just the beginning. Real quick, big Easter event on Saturday. Rachel, can you come up? I'll use a little bit on my public comments, and so you can let everyone know what's happening this Saturday. Don't stop my timer, please.
So we're going to have an Easter event Saturday, April the 8th. It's going to be for the kids, mini pancake breakfast from 8 a.m. to 9:45 a.m., Easter egg hunt right at 10, a magician at 10:15 a.m., and a children's mural 11:15 a.m., Easter basket prizes, Easter crafts, face painting, a DJ, and pictures with the Easter bunny.
Can we get our face painted?
Absolutely.
All right. I thought she was supposed to say no. All right. All right. May I continue?
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Rachel, for that. I didn't have all the information, but I did want to make sure
hope
that.
to see you all there.
8 a.m. you said?
8 a.m.
8 a.m. We'll be there. I'll be there. I'll try. All right. So I'll continue. We also did. Let me see where am I at. Yes. So I was able to meet. I had the privilege to meet the Speaker of the Assembly elect. So Robert Rivas was in San Diego, and I received an invitation. I don't know, sometimes I get a little cocky and ahead of myself. I thought, wow, I'm getting like a dinner.
Little?
Yeah, a little. I'm getting a little, yeah. I'm getting like a dinner invitation, like a private meeting. No, obviously there were a lot of other people there, but I was able to speak to them. And when I said earlier, sometimes building relationships and being able to pick up the phone goes a long, long way. And I apologize to Mayor Nava, and thank you, Councilmember Warren, for filling in for me at the SCAG meeting at the town pump. But I felt that this was important. I've been in the Speaker Rendon's office many times. We've been able to have conversations concerning, our community, and I want to continue that. And obviously, the best part of that is we weren't part of the infighting in Sacramento. So we're friends with the incoming speaker. So he has family in Hopeville. He knows where Brawley's at, so that's really cool. And so when you think about bills that are beneficial to our city, obviously with the speaker knowing who we are, it helps. It takes us a long, long way. So we also had the 2-on-2, and I'll let Mayor Nava speak on that since he was guiding it. It was really cool because I thought we were going to sit in a room and just kind of go back and forth. One item that I did bring up is the right of way for the transmission lines for the IID. And if you notice what our community looks like, under all of them is usually gravel. You'll see like shiny stuff like broken glass, whatever. And it's just an eyesore in the community. And, I've always envisioned and was trying to find a way that perhaps those areas could be used, as we can grow, orange trees, lemon trees, something that the community can have access to. without too much trouble. But whatever we can do to beautify, I mean, it would certainly help. So appreciate that. Presented a recognition to, on behalf of the mayor, to the outgoing exalted ruler, Zachary McCafferty, over at the Elks Club. I'd also like to thank staff for all their hard work. Man, you guys are up and down, and again, I apologize for like all the calls, but it's kind of like we're getting the same thing, right? And, the mayor said he got it. Everyone and their mother called them. We're kind of getting the same. So those who are, want to reinforce what they want to say to the mayor, call one of us. So it's been busy, taking in a lot of calls. Also, I had the privilege of delivering some comments at the Labor Council for Latin American Advancement in San Diego. It was interesting. I prepared this long speech, and by the time I went up, the room was half empty. I was like, so I wasn't that popular. But either way, we delivered our comments, so it was okay.
I would have listened to you.
I know you would. You always do.
I always
do. So he was on the phone with me 45 minutes. Was it yesterday? Well, I don't know when it was, but 45 minutes to hear me complain about stuff. And lastly, I represented the mayor at the Cesar Chavez event, presenting the city's choice for the best lowrider. And it was a very neat 1952 Ford. Excellent work by Joey Carpio. And so it was. One thing that I wanted to point out about the Latin American Advancement event was that I was able to meet Mo Fontaine. Mo Fontaine was an attorney that was in charge of eliminating what they refer to as the cortito. That's a short hole, right, versus the long one, and which created a lot of health issues for the folks that work in the fields. He's much older now. He's gone through many surgeries, but he's still very lucid and was able to speak on his experiences. It was a pretty good, neat experience. So. And lastly, obviously, this is a Chavez event. Again, I want to, thank the community for going out there and thank Los Amigos de la Comunidad for putting on that event. It's very important that we continue to acknowledge the work of Mr. Cesar Chavez, who attended schools here, who lived here in Brawley part-time, and who changed the lives of many people in my family, even mine. I had the privilege of working in the fields, and I know what it feels like. And so these folks, they changed the life for many people here in our community. And so obviously it's important to remember his work and his legacy as an activist and as a veteran of this country. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mayor Pro Tem Castro. All right, I'll keep it short and sweet, but cool nonetheless. So thank you, everybody, for the work you're doing. I appreciate you all, staff and everybody here, council, our city manager, our city attorney. All of you are very much appreciated. I was able to attend the Brown Bag Cookies ribbon cutting. Particularly proud moment of the proprietor there. Full circle. She's been baking for about 18 years. She started that store up over by Western Liquor about 15, 16 years ago. Ultimately closed it, and then was kind of baking from home and things of that nature. But now she's back at her store. So that's great to see, small business going back and being successful. So good for her. Congratulations. Also took a Farm Bureau tour recently, and that was visiting local farms and right outside of Brawley, within Brawley city limits, and right outside of Brawley, and also saw a packing shed and other things. But it's just incredible how many millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars travel through our community. If anybody has any question about how agriculture runs this community, you shouldn't, because that is really the driving force in this community, which is agriculture. Employs so many people and millions of dollars that are moved through there. We saw a romaine lettuce field, and it was a baby romaine that was being grown here locally, just right, a mile from here, mile and a half from here, and those went for example, straight to Wendy's. They were like, Wendy was one of the clients. One was for Chipotle, and so they talked about like the quality that is required by Chipotle, because if you remember, they had that outbreak a few years back. And so there's a lot of tracking methods to know exactly when that was harvested, at what time, like it's real specific, just every head, and so, and Chipotle realizes that it's expensive and they pay a premium for it, but that's why, burritos are $19 at Chipotle. So, but hey, you know where it was grown and what time, so, but all good stuff. But it's incredible, like how many millions, if you just look at the equipment at these facilities and everything else, it's incredible. So I was able to, I was there with the chief and other members of Brawley City staff. So Also had the 2-on-2 with the IID directors along with Mayor Pro Tem Castro. Do want to thank Chief for the use of a vehicle, and that was a beautiful vehicle, by the way. We did a little bit differently. When I showed up, Mayor Pro Tem Castro was already sitting here with one of the IID directors. I was like, all right, get ready, we're going on a field trip. So we ended up going, got the truck, and it was a truck that was purchased with seized funds, right? I said, that's a seized vehicle. And Mayor Pro Tem Castro was like, well, has it been like sniffed up by dogs? I was like, no, it's not. That's not what that means. It means like, yeah, it wasn't like a truck they took from a drug dealer or something. You know what I mean? It was a brand new truck. So anyway, we went on a tour throughout the community, and we were able to see some things, but talk in real time. And so we were talking about like the things that the IID works on and transmission lines and things of that nature, and then things that are affecting us. But I think that atmosphere, I think was very, very just conducive to a good conversation in the truck and just kind of driving as you're thinking and just cruising. I've always felt that that's a really good way to get a conversation started instead of sitting in just a normal environment of, not normal, but just like a stuffy environment like any office space. Who cares? You know what I mean? But anyway, that was good stuff. So I'll leave it at that. I do want to thank you all very much for all the work you're doing. I know it's starting to get warmer, and I've been working outside, so I'm a little bit more tan, but hopefully that pays off soon. Anyway, we'll move on. Thank you all very much. City Attorney report.
It's old news by now, but the city was successful in its motion for summary judgment against the petition for writ of mandate. It's still subject to appeal, but what that means in real terms is if that petition had been successful, the cell tower that this council disapproved would have been built right where Vertical Bridge wanted it. So as long as that decision's not appealed, that's a big win.
Do we have an idea, City Manager, great job, by the way, thank you for the help on that, but do we have an idea of right now how much we've spent on litigation for that particular case? Last figure is about $160,000 so far. So we'll see how it ends up. But thank you very much for that update. And having said that, we're going to go into closed session. Is there an update in closed session?
Yeah, but very brief.
Very brief. All right. Thank you all very much. Have a good one.